It's about time I made this video. Happy Forest fam! We are exactly 1 week until Electric Forest happens, and by the title of this video, you can tell I will not be at Electric Forest this year. I've kind of hinted at it throughout my different platforms on Instagram, TikTok. I haven't really been able to talk to YouTube fam about it because I didn't really have a clear plan for my festivals this year, but you might have heard in, some other places. But I wanted to do this video just to explain why I won't be at Electric Forest this year. You guys have come to know me as the girl that goes to Electric Forest, who has all the tip videos and things like that, and I hope that my tip videos have served you so well in preparing for this amazing and magical experience. And of course, I do want you guys to feel prepared, so I am going to do a last minute Q&A video towards the end of this as well. So I'm going to go into a little bit about why I will not be at Electric Forest, and then I will also accompany that with some tips for you guys. If you have any more questions, feel free to put them in the comment section below. The one offering I do have for you guys is that I'm going to be hosting a virtual intention setting workshop for Electric Forest. It's going to be happening on Monday, June 17th at 7:30 p.m. Central. Make sure you know what time zone you're in. That's going to be 5:30 p.m. Pacific, 6:30 p.m. Mountain Standard, and then 8:30 p.m. Eastern. I wanted to do this workshop for you guys because I know a lot of you guys that are going to Electric Forest are really bummed that I won't be there to host an intention setting workshop. I don't know if anyone's taking it over this year or anything, if there's going to be a workshop like that at the Brainery. And it was so much fun to do last year, and I enjoyed it so much being able to help so many of you with your Electric Forest experience. So I am doing this offering of a virtual intention setting workshop. It's free to join. There's a replay available. I'll also extract the meditation that I'm going to do. I'm doing a brand new meditation, and I actually did it for some people that were going to EDC Las Vegas. So we're going to be doing it for Forest fam. If you're available and would love to join, I'm going to put the link in the description for you. And if you can't make it live, definitely still sign up so that way you can use it, whenever you're traveling to Electric Forest, if you're flying to Electric Forest, and hopefully it can serve you that way to just get your mind and energy right for Electric Forest. So details for that are going to be in the description box. And without further ado, let's get into it. So going into this year with Electric Forest, and I guess I will backtrack to my Electric Forest experience last year. Last year was my 4th year attending Electric Forest. I have gone every year since 2018, minus the years of the pandemic, of course. And I had probably one of the most perfect Electric Forest experiences. I'm not gonna lie. This was my first single forest. In 2018, I was dating someone. In 2019, I brought one of my exes to Electric Forest. And then in 2021, I brought my most recent ex to Electric Forest. We've been a relationship girly, what can I say? And so last year was my first time being single at Electric Forest, and I was very much in a deep healing process. And I didn't do vlogs last year, which is why you guys might not see those, but I did kind of recap that experience on my podcast. And last year was just an amazing experience to where I felt pretty complete with Electric Forest. And I always thought I would go to Electric Forest every year. It's become home away from home. It's become a festival I have looked forward to every single year. I've brought so many people to Electric Forest. I've exposed so many of you guys to Electric Forest through my channel and through my content and everything. And something about going into this year, when the lineup dropped, there wasn't a feeling I had. There wasn't this urge or this pull to go. And I do think it was because of the experience I had last year being such an amazing and perfect experience, hosting my first workshop, doing Good Life for the first time, doing the bungalows, and going with a really awesome group, and also just feeling so supported by my friends and community and the forest itself as I was really healing from a breakup, right? And healing from a traumatic breakup at that, and also healing from that relationship that I had been in. And it was just one of those things where the lineup dropped, and I was kind of feeling into if I really wanted to go, that I was a little bit unsure about it. And of course, festivals are getting more and more expensive, and there was an increase in prices with Electric Forest that it really caused me to question, if I wanted to make the trip out this year, especially coming from Austin, Texas. My round trip flight tickets can be pretty expensive as well. And I don't know, I just had this feeling, you know, I got my 4 in the forest, which is great. And I am just trusting that I will return to forest when it feels best. And, you know, going 4 times, it's kind of like, am I, you know, repeating that same experience, even though Electric Forest does a great job of, you know, doing different things with the stages, adding different experiences and things like that. But what I'm really getting at is like, it just didn't feel like a full body yes, you know, and I love Electric Forest with all my heart. And it is a festival that can be really hard for some people to attend because it sells out every year. So it kind of gave me that comfort that if I don't go, that means a ticket could go to someone who really wants to go, who can have the chance to go. And I feel like that happened a lot. I think there was a lot of veterans and Forest fam who have decided to skip out on this year for whatever reason, whether it was the lineup or the cost, or, you know, a lot of us are growing up, we have weddings to go to or family things to tend to, or, you know, we might have work or whatever it may be. But I do feel like this year will be a really interesting and fun year because there's going to be a lot of newbies to Forest that get to view the forest for the first time. And I think that's really special that we were able to, you know, expose more people to Electric Forest and the magic of it all. And it's a really beautiful festival. And I've just decided to not go this year. I don't know about next year. I can't really see that much into the future if I want to go. I also did attend Lightning in a Bottle, and I think that's what I really made the swap for. And if you like Electric Forest, I definitely recommend you go check out my Lightning in a Bottle vlogs, and I'm going to be doing a recap as well soon. And I really did enjoy that festival, and I think for me and my interests in terms of personal development, spiritual development, wellness, Lightning in a Bottle really hit a lot of that, where Electric Forest is definitely like the entry point to that, right? With all the brainery, yoga sessions, things like that. I've been wanting to go to Lightning in a Bottle for a very long time, and I finally got to go, and I was so happy I went. And it's just another festival that I got to attend that I was really excited about. And so it was almost like cost analysis here, you know, I kind of traded Electric Forest for that Lightning in a Bottle experience, and I don't regret it at all. And, you know, I'm paying for all of my festivals this year is something that I've decided. I really am only working for one festival. Otherwise, I'm just going and experiencing things as an attendee again, which is kind of like a fun little experiment. And that's really that, you know. I am super pumped for those that are going to get to experience Electric Forest for the first time. I have so many tip videos that I'm going to link in the description box if you want any more last minute tips. But I also have some lovely questions from those that submitted on my social platforms that we'll go over today for just some last minute tips of things. But I hope you guys can understand. I know a lot of you guys are really sad and disappointed that I'm not going to be there, but promise you my energy will be felt. I'll be sending so many good vibes, so much good loving energy towards the forest and towards the Forest fam. Like, it is such an amazing and impactful experience, and really has kicked off a lot of why I'm so tuned into personal development and spiritual development. Like, a lot of that did come from my first Electric Forest experience in 2018. And I'm excited to see what changes and things and all the things that happen and the sets and surprises that are in store for you guys. I can't wait to just watch along. I also am going to be going home to Arizona for the first time this year. I haven't been since Christmas, and I'm really dying to go home. If you haven't listened to my life update episode, a lot of things have happened. Even since I did that life update episode, there's been more life updates, you know what I mean? So I'm excited to go home and just kind of like reground myself with my parents, recenter myself with my parents, and get ready for an amazing second half of the year. There's so many exciting things to come. So that's kind of the basis of why I won't be at Electric Forest. If you have any more questions, feel free to put them in the comments below, and I'll try my best to answer them all before you guys are on your very merry way to Electric Forest. Okay, so like the EDC video, I kind of chunked some of these questions out. So the first kind of category that we have are just like general prep questions. And so the first question, and this might be helpful when it comes to packing, is what's a common item to forget that is a must-have? And I would say this is a lot newer of a must-have than in more recent past years. And that's going to be a bandana or a dust mask or something like that. It does look like the forest is getting some rain this week, which would be helpful for the dust. Lightning in a Bottle, there was a lot of dust from, you know, being in a desert, right? And it being windy, With Electric Forest, if it hasn't had much rain, it's just a lot of dirt that just gets kicked up, you know, from a lot of people walking and all of that. And so I definitely recommend having some type of dust mask or bandana, and potentially one for each day. So whether you get like reusable masks or, you know, face masks, have one for each day because they're gonna get dirty. And mainly wear them, you know, when you are walking to and from a stage will be really helpful. Some other like common items that people might forget could be like sunscreen, baby wipes, earplugs. I would also say things to help you keep cool, which that was a question that I got here, but whether it's like a cooling towel or like a spray bottle. Also, I will say there's a question about this, but comfortable shoes, that's actually the next question. It is a lot of walking. So I hear this time and time again, those girlies, I love my festival fashion rave girlies, the demonias. No, no. It's not gonna work. It's a lot of walking and it's not the most even terrain either. If you want them for the photos, that's great. Use them for the photos and then go take them back to camp. Wear your Crocs or something like that. But I usually typically wear, you know, combat boots like my Doc Martens that I have broken in, or tennis shoes would also be really great. But yeah, whatever is comfortable for your feet. Some Dr. Scholl's like gel insoles will also be super helpful. And then rechargeable batteries could also be great. I did get a solar power battery for lightning in a bottle. It did hold a lot of charge, but I don't know if I got the solar power right because it didn't recharge under the sun. So I need to like test that out again, but definitely having, you know, reusable chargers would definitely be helpful. There's some charging stations and stuff like that throughout the campgrounds. And then they also might have some type of power bank exchange. I don't know if they still do that at Forest, but there might be some way to still charge your phone, you know, if you get a locker or something like that. But those are kind of the things that come to mind when it comes to common items that people might forget. In terms of best shoes, footwear recommendations, I think, you know, a combat boot that is broken in is definitely a good call, or tennis shoes, whatever is comfortable for you. If your Crocs are comfortable, that's great. Or if you have like, you know, Birkenstocks or whatever that are comfortable, that's also fine. It just is a lot of walking, so whatever you can do, or if you can put the gel insole, that is also helpful as well. The next question, I laughed at this because she asked, what size jacket? My short fur, my medium size fur, my big fur. Like she had all the fur options. And I was looking at the forecast. It is looking like it's not going to get that cold. So you honestly might just need a light jacket. Like honestly, a sweatshirt works, or a thinner jacket or something like that. But keep an eye on the forecast. But from what I was seeing with that forecast, it's gonna be pretty hot and not very cold. But you might, you know, change at night into leggings or sweatpants if you want to be more comfortable, but it might not be super cold is what I'm getting at, especially for a fur jacket. The next question I have is any tips on booking hair braiding appointments at the festival? So I believe it's Squad Goals Beauty that is doing the appointments at the main camping area, Main Street. And so I typically book it ahead of time and I get like just 2 simple French braids. That's typically $100. Then you want to include tips. So you're looking about $120, but like if you have long hair like me, like I need it away. So that's why I personally get my hair braided. You can choose from different colors, styles, things like that. If you don't do an appointment ahead of time, then you're gonna be in a walk-in line that you could be waiting a long time for, essentially. They do them pretty quick, like within an hour, I would say. So definitely take a look at Squad Goals Beauty. If I can find their booking, I will put it in the description for you. And then if you are gonna get your hair braided, just make sure you get a silk bonnet. You could either get one beforehand, like from Amazon, or they sometimes sell them themselves at the booth. But yeah, that's typically what it is for the Main Street one. Now, if you're in Good Life, they have a different braider and you could set an appointment ahead of time, I think, when you're there, or do a walk-in. I'm pretty sure, I don't know if I set an appointment beforehand when I did Good Life. I might have, but I don't know if it's the same person that's doing it. I'll double check and I'll put that option in the description box below, but I loved who did my braids last year because they actually like did it with my part. Because I have like a widow's peak, so doing a middle part just like doesn't work for me. So I really loved the braider that I had. I'm pretty sure it was Goddess, but I'm gonna double check if she's gonna be at Electric Forest and if she's gonna be at Good Life, and if she is, then I will put that info in the description box for you. The follow-up question that someone had was, do you keep your rave braids in the entire fest? And last year what I did for Electric Forest, and I think I honestly do this, on the last day of the festival, I usually shower and clean out all the gel and just like have my hair feeling a little bit fresh for the last day. For lightning in a bottle, I didn't do this. I just didn't feel like going through it. And I just felt like keeping it, you know, braided. I actually flew home with that braided hair. But usually like at Electric Forest last year, I went and showered and like took everything out and let my hair down, and it was actually really nice. It was a lot cooler on that day as well, so it helped out a ton. Okay, the next category we have is some camping questions. So first question is, I have early arrival Tuesday at, I don't know if they meant 7 p.m. or 7 a.m. I don't even know when they open on Tuesday early arrival. I usually go on Wednesday. But they said, when should I get there to get in line to get a good spot for GA camping? And my assumption is like with Tuesday early arrival, there's not as many people arriving comparatively to Wednesday or to Thursday. So I don't think you need to get too early ahead of when they open the gates. You can definitely plan for it, right? But if you're gonna be there on Tuesday, I feel like you're gonna get a solid spot because you're paying for that Tuesday early arrival, and there might not be as many people comparatively to the other days. So if you want to go a little bit earlier than the opening time, great, but I don't think it's something to stress over comparatively to like if you go on Thursday or Wednesday. Next question is, any ideas to help with the heat in GA camping? Yeah, whatever shade you can create with like easy ups and tapestries will definitely be helpful. I do have like a portable fan that I got from Amazon that I will link my whole like camping Amazon wish list that I have in the description below. But cooling towels, ice packs, things like that you could put in the cooler and then take out would also be helpful. Getting like a reflective tarp to put over your tent that can reflect the heat can also be super helpful. Typically you could go to Main Street and see, they might have like misters or like some shaded areas as well if it's too hot at your camp. You could also go to the water park, which there were some questions about the water park, which if you take the water park shuttle, you can find it on the map. It's along GA camping. You could go to the water park and cool down that way. I don't know if you have access to the lake anymore because of the Lucky Lake kind of camping spots. So I don't know if that's a possibility, but I would just try to have like misting little fan on yourself or like a portable fan on yourself, and then try to create some shade at camp. And then if you need to go to like Main Street to like have some shade there, go to the water park. You find things to stay cool. I also I just wear minimal clothing sometimes. And a lot of people tend to wake up and shower first thing. My thing was like, I would wait until like an hour or two before I'm going in the gates, because otherwise if you do it super early when you take a shower, you're just gonna be sitting there sweating. And like, you know, so I would usually go shower, come back, get ready, then go into the festival. You also could, if the gates are open, you could go into the festival and like be in a hammock, be in the trees, be in the shade that way and stay cool that way. My friends and I are doing Higher Love this year. Have you ever / any advice / tips for it? We're usually GA. So this was on TikTok and I told her to report back to me on Higher Love, but it sounds really cool from what I read because they have a dedicated shuttle that takes you from Higher Love straight to the GA entrance. They have bigger camping spots, like it's a decent sized camping spot, and then they have AC bathrooms and showers. So it seems like a nicer GA camping experience, which seems really cool to me. I don't really have any tips for it other than, you know, enjoy the space you have. Definitely take advantage of the showers. Like I think it sounds like those showers are 24/7, which like I love that in Good Life. Like I could come back from the festival, go take a shower and then go to bed. Whereas like, you know, in GA, I would come back, do a baby wipe shower, and then the next day go take an actual shower, you know? So you're definitely living a little bit nicer at Higher Love. So if you're doing that camping, definitely report back to me on that. Easy camp meals. So I'm honestly not the best for this because I usually travel from out of state. So like I'm typically stuck with like protein bars, PB&Js, rice cakes, stuff like that, because we usually might not have a cooler. But even when I went to Lightning in a Bottle, we did have a stove, which was really nice. And so my friend Inike, she made us like a little hash brown scramble thing that was super nice. I've heard of people making like batch making like burritos, like breakfast burritos, that could be really nice. We also had ramen, which you just need like hot water for. So if you were able to have like that stove kind of set up, that could always be really nice. I have seen people bring like actual like tea kettle, like electric tea kettle that they plug into their own little generator thing. I don't know. But yeah, I've seen people do tacos, you know, at EDC, I saw them have like a whole pancake setup. But in terms of like something easy, like I just go for sandwiches and snacks, things like that. I usually plan to have a meal inside of the festival, maybe 1 or 2 meals just depending, or like a meal on the way back to camp. Really just depends, but that's what I usually budget for because I do come from out of state. Final question is, what are some of your favorite things to do around camp? So I did pop over to Main Street last year, even though I was in Good Life, because I did have my workshop at the Brainery, and they did a lot over there. They've done a lot more, and definitely added a lot more. So I would just say explore Main Street. They have like a drag brunch going on. They have like, you know, cartoons with a cereal bar. Like, there's definitely talks at the Brainery that you can go check out. So I would just say just explore it all. And they also have a lot of shaded seating, phone chargers, stuff like that. They have like other little immersive things. Like there was an NFT thing one year. I don't remember what that was about. But yeah, definitely just explore Main Street and definitely hang out there. If you don't feel like sweating at your camp, you can at least, you know, see what's going on at Main Street and the other little things. I think they had like a karaoke thing going on at the diner. They did a lot of new improvements last year. I was kind of having FOMO over, but I was also over in Good Life and had a really nice setup over there. So I shouldn't complain. You know what I mean? And then the final category we have is actually about the festival itself with Electric Forest. So the first question is, what are your must-do activities? What are some activities you recommend doing? Those were kind of the same questions that I got around the activities. And like what I always tell everyone is just walk the forest during the day and then re-walk it at nighttime and explore it all. It's okay to skip some sets to go explore, honestly, because you never know what you'll stumble into. You never know what character you might find, and they might take you to like a speakeasy, or they might get you on a scavenger hunt. Like, you just never know. Now there's the Dream Emporium, and the Dream Emporium was pretty wild last year. Definitely go check that out. You'll never know what you'll find in there. Just go watch, you know. It might get a little bit busy at some point, so if you are someone that's more prone to overwhelm or anxiety or anything like that, it might be less busy during some of the headliner sets for the Dream Emporium. So definitely go check that out. They also have the scavenger hunt, and they have new posts for the scavenger hunt along the forest that you can sign up for the scavenger hunt and do that. I've only done it once, and I got brought into a poetry brothel because of that scavenger hunt, but you never know what you get, whether it's a pin or access to a secret set. Things like that. Good Life does have their own after sets, so definitely check those out if you're in Good Life. What else is there? There's so much with Electric Forest, and I still have not even covered it, you know what I mean? But I definitely just think just explore is kind of the big thing. And if you want to check out, you know, stuff in the chapel or stuff at the Honeycomb, there's usually cool like little meetups. And things like that. Like they have their Pride kind of little mini festival that they do within the festival. That's always fun. There's always so many things to do, you know? So what I really encourage you is maybe don't go to as many sets because you'll never know what else there'd be. There's also yoga, go to a Brainery session. Like there's just so much, you know? Then I got some questions about the water park. I have never done the water park, to be honest. It always felt like such a trek to go for some reason. And then I learned by doing Good Life that it's really not much of a trek at all. I don't know the actual cost of it, and I worry about sometimes saying prices for things because it always can change, right? But there is a price for it. I've heard good things about it. I think they have showers there too. But I've heard cool things about it. All you need to do is go to the water park shuttle, which is alongside the edge of GA. They don't have an updated map out just yet, but take a look at the map and like dissect it, and you'll see where that water park shuttle is. I saw it on last year's map, but that's how you'll get to and from it. And so yeah, you might be able to check Reddit for more information regarding the water park, but I've heard good things about it. I've heard it's fun. I've just never mustered up the energy to go, to be honest. The next question is more so like about connecting with people. So advice on finding a festival fam, also maybe advice on finding other singles. So the Electric Forest Facebook group might be something great for this. Radiate also might be really great, which is an app. Might be good for finding, you know, a festival fam or finding other people that are going solo. If you are a woman or female identifying or non-binary, they do have a women's circle through Her Forest. I went to that last year and I really enjoyed it. But you might be able to find certain meetups like that you identify with, you know, whether it's a certain meetup happening at the Honeycomb or at the chapel. just definitely take a look through the schedule and you might be able to find certain things like that. And then I would go to Reddit, go to Facebook, and you might find like other little meetups going on. Also Radiate is really great as well to meet people. In terms of finding other singles, you know, this is not my department. I am not good at this. I feel like I have no game, you guys. Like, I see cute boys and I just like, hey, don't say anything. You know what I mean? But I will say the shuffling brings the boys to the yard. That's actually how I met my last 2 relationships was from my shuffling. It might be like a singles meetup or something. They might do like speed dating. At Lightning in a Bottle, they had a speed dating thing and I was like, I'm not ready for that. But yeah, I don't know. I'm still navigating kind of this singleness right now. If you happen to figure it out yourself on how to find other signals, definitely let your girl know, because I need to up my game a little bit. The next question we have is, how can I get on a hot air balloon? So I know that there is a starting point near Sherwood Court and then also near Tripoli. And I think that's the ride that happens as you go from Tripoli to Sherwood Court. So it usually happens over by the Ferris wheel in Tripoli. I don't know where it drops you off on Sherwood Court. Actually, I do. It's near Carousel Club and Dream Emporium. I see it in my head. I'm not sure the pricing on it. It changes every year a little bit, but that's how you can go and sign up, get on the hot air balloon, and then you're able to go over. So yeah, definitely just look for it on the map as well, but I'm pretty sure the pickup is at Tripoli near the Ferris wheel, and the drop off is in between Carousel Club and Dream Emporium on the other side near Sherwood Court. Any tips for staying awake? I want to be able to stay up for the afters, but I'm a sleepy gal. So as we all know, I am a mainly alcohol-free girly, mostly sober girly. If I dabble in anything, it might be just like a little bit of weed, right? But how I stay awake would typically be caffeine and food. So kind of timing out that. Typically when I'm yawning, I know it's because of food, not from tiredness. That's just how I know. If my eyes are getting heavy, then I know it's tiredness. But if I'm hungry and like I'm yawning, then I'm hungry. I typically kind of like gauge my meals and see if I need a refuel for food. I also time out caffeine to make sure that I'm not overdoing it as well, because if I actually need to sleep, I actually need to sleep. So I'm kind of mindful with those things. I can also be pretty sensitive to caffeine. So I'm usually kind of gauging that way. So, you know, you could do like Red Bull or some other type of energy drink. I don't know what the official energy drink is at Forest. It used to be Red Bull. I don't know if it's changing this year. I feel like some of the festivals have been changing their, you know, energy drink preference. You could also get like powdered kind of, you know, Alani Nu, Celsius sticks, stuff like that. But I'll usually kind of time it out that way, depending on what time I want to go to bed or how late I want to stay up. To be honest, for Electric Forest, I usually pick one night of the whole weekend that I'm like, you know what, this is the night I'm going to afters, this is the night I'm going to stay up all night, right? Usually Friday or Saturday I pick. And then that's how I kind of gauge, you know, how much caffeine I'm going to do and all of that. And then also just making sure I'm eating enough. That's usually what keeps me energized and going. And then of course the music, right? And being around good vibes and all of that. And then knowing when you feel complete, it's time to go back to camp and pass out, right? And then this final question is, what's one thing I should not miss at Forest that I've overlooked as a 5-year veteran? I don't know. 5-year veteran, I feel like you've probably seen everything, you know? Oh, what's one thing I should not miss at Forest? I don't know. Like there's been so many special moments from, you know, I've seen Porter Robinson play at the piano, right? Like I can't really give you like a specific to do. What I encourage you maybe for this is like just be open and curious, and like maybe because you've been 5 years and maybe you've seen a lot of these artists, maybe it's time to just like explore, you know, explore what the forest has to offer you, get lost in the forest, talk to random people, talk to the characters and see what comes up. One of the activities I've listed, like the Dream Emporium or going to a brainery session or going to yoga or going to some type of meetup, maybe that will spark something for you, but I can't give you like a definitive, especially as a 5-year veteran. But I think if I were going to Forest this year, to be honest, I haven't fully looked at the lineup. I did see it and I was like, okay, it's a lot of people I've seen. So like the only one I might be a little bit bummed about is Everything Always, but that's also kind of like a Dom Dalla, John Summit set anyway, right? Yeah, no, there's also the Closey Ellis Dream thing, but it is what it is. It's okay. Yeah, I feel like if I were going to Forest this year, I feel like I would probably spend more of that time just exploring a lot more and skipping sets. I don't know. That's probably not my best answer, but it's the note we're ending on. It's the question we're ending on. So I hope that was helpful. And I hope that this video was helpful for you guys, my forest family. I'm going to miss you so much. Like I said, I'm sending so much love and good energy and good vibes to you guys for Electric Forest. And I will be sharing even more of that magic and good energy and good vibes before you go to Electric Forest. If you want to join in on my intention setting workshop, my virtual intention setting workshop happening next Monday, June 17th at 7:30 p.m. Central. It's free to join. It's right on Zoom. Really, all you have to do is show up. We'll do a meditation. We'll do some journaling. It's going to be super powerful and impactful, and it's going to get your mind and energy right for Electric Forest. So I love you guys. If you have any more questions about Electric Forest, definitely leave a comment down below. I'm going to miss you guys so much. Thank you guys so much for all the support. Seriously, for the past, 4 or 5 years that I've been covering Electric Forest, it's really weird to not be going. But I hope that my tips and content have served you so well. And if you're going for forest for the first time, I'm just so excited for you to experience it. If you enjoyed today's video, feel free to give it a thumbs up, hit that subscribe button to vibe with me. I love you guys, and I will see you in the next one. Bye.